Provo, Utah. This is the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast with your hosts, Joseph DeGolier and Caleb Schweiss. This is Ultima Final Fantasy.
Welcome to another episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast. I am your host, Caleb.
I'm your other host, Joe.
And today we are going to be resurrecting, I would say, an old segment that's been getting a lot of requests lately. Mythical Origins of the Summons. This will be part 4 of that series. And I got to say, a lot more summons to go, so this is going to be a while. I did a lot of the ones that I thought were a little bit more fun, but the ones I chose today, Bahamut, Cockatrice, and Leviathan, surprisingly interesting. There's a lot of info on each of them.
And speaking of cocks, we're going to be talking about that soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Before we get to that, Schweiss, how's it going in that old FF14 prison?
It's it's a life sentence, it seems. And there is no getting off on parole for good conduct. It feels that way.
No matter how many 14 hours of 14s we put in, it feels like it's never ending.
It's kind of crazy, yeah. We got a lot done with those 14-hour marathons, but at the same time, it almost feels like we didn't, given the fact
there's still 30 quests to go.
Yeah.
Which someone could probably say, you could do that in a day. Like, yeah, we could probably do it if we did another 14 hours of 14, yes.
Yeah, it's, I think I counted about like 22 quests left in the game. For me, it's going pretty well. I am on one of the later trials, and I'm kind of waiting for you to catch up to me. I've grabbed a bunch of ether currents and a couple zones. And you know what? The thing that really pisses me off in our free company, our wonderful free company director, Judge Cloudprod, he has this like running tally of how many points we've earned throughout the month, and I'm still only 5 points ahead of you. And I've gotten like crafting achievements taken care of. I've gotten achievements for the aetherite currents. I don't know what to do.
What can I say?
How are you getting so many achievement points in this
dude.
fucking game? What are you doing?
I was never looking for achievement points.
That's bullshit. Dude, I don't understand how I'm 5 points ahead of you. If I get 5 points for each aetherite one, which I feel like it's 5, there might be some that don't give me any, and that might be the problem I'm running into, but if I get 5 for each one, I've done 2 since the beginning of the month, so I should be 10 points ahead of you, and I'm only fucking 5. I don't understand it. I don't understand it, but I'm doing it, and it's come in handy a couple times, having those ether currents and just being able to fly, because we are starting to backtrack into older areas here and there, and I don't have to walk up the giant like staircases or anything like that. I can just jump on my mount, Midgard Sormer, and just fly away. And it's pretty nice. Plus, it's like
I walk everywhere personally.
Yeah,
just trying to lose some weight.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's kind of a cool little thing, like pulling out your little compass and trying to find where the ether currents are. They're never really that hard. And if you can't really figure out where it's at, it's probably in an area that you can't get to yet, or like way above you, almost right where you're at, but not
Yeah,
quite.
The problem is, though, that it takes like 20 minutes per thing because the areas are so huge. And
it takes a while, and then the true problem of the ether currents is the fact that the main story quests, give you some of the final ones. So like I don't actually get the ability to fly until I'm almost out of the area, if not out of the area. Like the final quest in the first zone, the Ruby Sea or whatever, that was the one that gave me the last ether current, and then we go to the next zone where I have no ability to fly.
We did just pass a really cool story portion of Stormblood that I really liked. There was a death.
It was a really
good part.
Yeah, I was like, this is probably the most I felt for a character dying in this entire game.
And he wasn't there for long.
Harshafant was cool, but not like this guy.
No. So I enjoying that part. Of course, there's other stuff that happens there where I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But we'll, of course, get into that when we do the review. Yeah, 20 to 30 quests from the end, though.
Right, yeah, and we only need to level up. I need to level up twice, 68 to 70. So we're getting there. We're like down to the wire on Final Fantasy XIV. And also one other thing we wanted to touch on. I know you personally were feeling like, okay, we should just finish Stormblood and get out of the game for now. Do you still feel that way? Like, do you want Stormblood to be like, once we beat the story, do you want to call it good for now? And then
I mean, we did do all the dungeons. We haven't done all the trials. I'm kind of thinking we should ixnay the extreme fights that we talked about putting on there.
Right.
Just do the regular ones. And then I know there's a run. We did Crystal Tower.
Right, yeah, we did.
Which was pretty cool. Still need to do Bahamut and Alexander.
Right.
So I'm wondering if we should do that this playthrough or next playthrough. I honestly don't have an opinion. It doesn't matter. If we do another 14 of 14, we can do it. I don't know if you want to do that because you wanted to record the episodes live now, so doing it on Sunday is impossible.
Yeah.
For recording podcasts on Sunday. Notice that I'm here and not over Skype, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
That requires an hour and a half drive both ways.
Yes.
So there's kind of a sacrifice that's being made because of that.
There is, and I don't know. That's why I don't know if I doubt the 14 hours will come back. I think the 2 that we've done should probably be good for this.
It's like if we did a third one, we'd be done. I'm pretty sure.
We would be, for sure, yeah. I also think we can probably get done this week, because I know you're getting a lot faster at your job, which might get you maybe a couple more hours throughout the week to play 14.
It would. My concern is balancing Ultima and Nude Clan, which I'm sure when we started Nude Clan was a big concern for our listeners on this show, and in many ways they were correct to
be concerned.
To be concerned because, honestly, mostly, though, it hasn't really slowed down Ultima. It's slowed down Nude Clan.
Yeah, so the punishment isn't on this show, really,
it's
ever.
Not on this show too much, except for my complaining about it. That's mostly what's been added. But, yeah, there's a game for Nude Clan I need to beat this week. And I didn't have time for the last 2 weeks to be able to play it very much at all. I only started it last week. Because of my new job and the fact that I'm working too many hours, and it shouldn't be taking this long, but it is. And then, of course, 14 was like, if I'm going to play a video game for 2 hours, you get like 3.5 hours, Joe. You get 3.5 hours every day to figure out what you got to do with those 3.5 hours. I go, okay, 2 hours can be one of the games.
Right.
If I'm going to do that, I'm just going to do a dungeon in 14, a dungeon or 2. So at least that's kind of what I've been doing. I am. We could beat it this week, but then the other game would be put off.
Yeah.
And also, I don't think we would have time to do Bahamut unless you wanted to do it Monday evening.
I think honestly, right now we need to. I want to do Stormblood next week.
Oh, you want to do the review next week
for
Stormblood?
Yeah, so I say we finish that this week, and we plan on collecting Stormblood questions, Stormblood reviews from the listeners at the end of this episode.
Okay.
And you know what?
Let's do it.
Alone in the Dark, I know that's what you've got for Nude Clan.
Yeah.
I say we try to front load as much of 14 as we can, so I say we play tomorrow. And then we play earlier in the week and see how much we can get done. And then if you want to try to finish that later on, you can. Because we are recording on Sundays now, so you do have all of Saturday to do as you will, once you get down here at least.
Yeah.
So I maybe bring the PS3 and see if you can finish that here. I am gonna buy the game and try it. So maybe we can suffer.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen who don't listen to Nude Clan, I know there's quite... Okay, I have never tried tank controls before. And you can hear a good old rant on Nude Clan this week about me and my first experience ever with what was referred to as tank controls to me that I didn't understand what the fuck they were talking about, but now I do.
Yes.
It is the worst control scheme any game, including Heavy Rain, and that was a pretty bad control scheme. Any control scheme in any game... The idea that anybody would think that the tank control scheme was a good idea is a fucking moron. God, dude, it's awful. So I know that game is only 4 hours long, but really it's going to be like 12 for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be fucking... What I'm doing right now is running into a bunch of walls and bad guys because I can't fucking figure out how to move my guy very easily.
Yeah, which is kind of ridiculous. Like, you can't even walk in the game, let alone, like, kill the enemies and escape from the enemies.
Yes, let alone.
It's crazy, but I do feel like you do get used to it, and we'll see where we are, but I do want to try to get through Stormblood this week. I think we could do it. It's not that we don't have that much longer, and I say we just focus on that, and then if we want to do Bahamut the following week after we record the review on Sunday, we can if we want. If not, then we can do it next time. I mean, we did 2 full trials this time. We can do 3 or 4 next time if we desire. I mean, it's totally up to us, so... I want to do it, I do, but at the same time, I also want to start playing Tactics, which is very upcoming.
And it's after the 15 game.
After the 15 game, yeah, but that one's like a 3-hour game, so... And I don't want to play that necessarily. I've heard that it's not very good, so... I mean, I won't let that taint my opinion of it, obviously, but it'll be something new, and... Dude, I think I've put, like... It's been like 5 days... of playtime for Final Fantasy XIV during this run that we're currently in. Because I think I was around 8 days last time, and I am at 13 days and 13 hours of 14. Yeah, and most of that, hardly any of it is just random grinding for classes. Like I did that a little bit early on with the White Mage, and then I realized that I can't go White Mage anymore because my Black Mage, I'm behind in levels all of a sudden. Like I can't advance unless I do my dailies and other random dungeon runs with Black Mage. So, like, almost all of that has been just pure finishing the dungeons, finishing the story content, grinding up content. So, it's a lot. It's been a lot of grind, but
it's been a lot of. I think there was a lot of support on the old Twitter and the UFF about last week's, I would say, downer episode. And right as soon as we were done recording, I was like, fuck, it's going to sound like we're just about to quit this show. Like, that's kind of the vibe that came out of the episode.
Yeah.
Which is not the case, guys. I really was just fucking tired from the day.
Yeah.
As well as, like, I'm sick of playing these MMOs, man.
They're crazy.
We got to move on.
They're crazy. I mean...
11 took so much time. 14's taken so much time.
And it's nuts because you think about, like, a game like Nier Automata, which is another upcoming Nude Clan game, and you think, like, oh, man, 23 hours. Whew, that's a decent chunk of time. And then you think about our 14 time, and it's like, no, it isn't. It's like nothing. And we're not even done with this game. Like, we're still in the midst of the last, like, third.
Yeah, let's try to beat it this week. That's a good idea.
I totally agree. And speaking of last week's episode, we do have a question coming up later from Shinru. It's kind of like more of a statement sort of a deal, but kind of goes along with the theme of last week. So we'll definitely make sure to touch on that. So, you know.
All right. So let's get our plugs out of the way, as well as some other things that plug.
Yes.
You can go to ultimafinalfantasy.com is where you can find everything. You can tweet me at Joseph DeGolier.
Me at UFF Podcast.
We have contact pages and stuff there, as well as our forums, which we encourage you to join, ask questions, submit news, submit things for other segments as well, like corrections and all that other shit. We love to use that as a thing to have our show revolve around, and so we appreciate when you do that. Please go to iTunes and leave us a review. We really appreciate that as well. Of course, you can support the show by going to ultimafinalfantasy.com. There's on the side panel, you got a Patreon link that you can go to. There's PayPal link that if you want to donate to the show, you can use that. Then there's an Amazon link that you can click through, and when you do that, and let's say you bookmark your Amazon link, anything you buy through that link, we will get a small kickback for, and it doesn't cost you anything extra, and we just really appreciate it. Now, we have said on the show before, and this is true, we see what people buy, because it's like Amazon's way of tracking, hey, this is kind of your financials, this is you got this % off of this item, and that's great. We don't say who buys them.
Yeah,
it's
keep
very
that in
important
mind.
to say it. We don't say who buys them. Amazon would probably never release that information. But we do see what people buy. And there were some, I think a couple weeks ago, and I don't know why we haven't mentioned them on the show yet. There were some things that were bought on Amazon that I found and Schweiss found very compelling.
Yes. It was funny because I was going through and I noticed it, and the first one I noticed was this prostate massager with 2 powerful motors for male orgasms. I was like, whoa.
The image of the prostate massager is one that frightens the hell out of me.
Yeah.
But apparently it's this anal beady looking vibratey thing that you stick into your ass and that curls on the bottom to massage thy taint.
Yes.
And I was laughing about the idea that someone bought that through our link. And it's just, you boy, you have fun. Just have some fun. If you guys want to see the prostate massager, it is. Wait, what is it called on Amazon?
Falak wireless remote anal sex toy.
Wireless, that's good.
It is wireless, yeah. You got a nice little remote control here. Mm-hmm. It's pretty awesome, So that was the first one I saw, and I screenshot it, and I was like, look at that, that's fucking great. And then I saw another one that was it's titled Strap U, vibrating strapless silicone strap-on dildo. This one,
is this the same person?
I don't know. I doubt it, because this one seems to be okay. So the thing, it is shaped. All right, so it's like holding your hand.
It's a strapless strap-on.
It is a strapless strap-on, and there's a reason why it's strapless. It's because it's an insertion.
So it goes into it goes into the
vaginal cavity.
Yeah.
And then you use it to then pound someone else's.
It goes into the vag and like cups up outside.
Yeah. Some nice G-spot stimulation.
And then protrudes its own phallus-shaped object out of which it also vibrates. Is that right?
Yeah, of course.
So it's both it's a her and her pleasure.
I believe, unless it's a dude.
Unless it's a dude who also, he's probably getting his prostate. I bet it's the same.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. But I honestly, I applaud the creativity of making a strapless strap-on. Like that's genius in my book. Like thinking about it, I'm like, why was that not the standard? Why is this not the one and the strap is just like the dollar store version?
Is there like enough friction to hold it in? Like
I don't know. I guess you can like, clench or something. I don't fucking know. I don't have a
clench, baby.
Yeah, clench. Hold that shit.
I don't have a vag, so I don't really know like how physics kind of.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so that one's good. And then I saw that one second, and I was like, Jesus, that's way more intense. And then, guys, the Let's Gasm 9-inch big boy black silicone dildo with suction cup dash very big dildo. This thing is huge, man. It's like, God, it's like my arm. I mean, we're talking 9 inches, and it's.
Are you saying that because you bought it and you know?
Yeah, I held it up to my arm, and it was there. But Jesus, this thing is. And the about the product is insane. The perfect girth of 6.5 inches. You'll certainly feel this one. Oh, I would fucking hope so. That's insane. So whoever satiated their sexual needs via our Amazon link, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
We can't tell who bought. Only what was bought. And I got a damn good laugh out of that at work when I saw it, because I was like joking about the lesser ones that were
You're looking at dildos at work?
No, I didn't open it. I just read the description line, and I was like, Jesus Christ, is that? Oh my God. And I won't open it, but I knew what it was. So thank you very much. That's a great way to support the show.
Buy all your sex toys via Amazon.com through our Ultima Final Fantasy link. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely solid. Definitely solid.
Is it solid? I thought it was like is it a rubbery kind of like?
I would say it's definitely rubbery, but still solid at the same time. So like the best of both worlds, I suppose.
If it was all one person, they really want to stick a lot of shit in their ass.
Yeah, that is true. If it is all one, who can say?
Who can say? But yeah, if we could see it, I definitely wouldn't keep my mouth shut about who bought it. That's the problem.
It would be impossible.
Yeah, so Amazon's really smart. It'd be like,
thank God for that, right?
Yeah. Thank God.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So we do have a little bit of Final Fantasy news this week, so let's jump into that. News. Okay, so Dissidia Final Fantasy NT, wonderful fucking name, closed beta test begins August 26th, 2017. So we've got about 12 days after the release of this episode, and we'll finally get to play the 14 characters in the demo itself. I signed up for it. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get access to the beta yet. I haven't heard a yay or nay, but people will be able to use characters from Final Fantasy through Final Fantasy 14 and 3v3 battles. Warrior of Light, Firion, Onion Knight, Cecil Harvey, Bartz Klauser, Tara Branford, Cloud Strife, Squall Leonhard, Zidane Tribal, Titus, Shintoto, Vaughn, Lightning, and Y'shtola are available. Ifrit, Odin, and Shiva will also be available as summons for the game. So we finally get to do play some Y'shtola in this game. Yeah, it'll be coming out early 2018, and hopefully some of you got access to the beta, because that'd be kind of cool to hear.
Yeah.
Hear a listener's opinion.
Probably banned on Twitch already.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, that would be pretty crappy. So Final Fantasy Brave Exvius is getting a Nier Automata event. Apparently they're going to be bringing a couple of characters with some equipment. They're going to bring 2B, 9S, 210, and Atom Unit to the game. So jump on.
Is it 2B or not 2B?
It's definitely 2B. So jump on and get those special summons with your daily tickets and whatnot. I've never gotten one from the events, but I also get on that game and then like jump off like immediately. I just can't stick with it. It's not as entertaining.
I downloaded it, and that's as far as I got.
Yeah.
So
Dissidia Final Fantasy on Arcade also adds Jecht from Final Fantasy X.
Cry.
I cannot wait for all the fatherly abuse, and I hope that the Jecht and Titus
just emotional abuse too.
Is excellent. Yeah. No physical. He doesn't even use physical attacks. It's all like mind games and shit. It's like that Psycho Mantis fight from Metal Gear Solid.
What are you gonna cry?
Yeah, and like he just does damage to you by just insulting you. So we of course got the new Final Fantasy 15 multiplayer expansion, Comrades, which features quite the extensive character customization and shit like that. I was thinking about playing it for the show, but then I thought about playing 14 for the show, and, well, 14 beat it out.
Oh.
Yeah, we've got another piece of news that's pretty interesting, but I don't really want to get into it quite yet. I think we should probably save it for next time. It's a new comic series that features Hironobu Sakaguchi and FF programmers trying to rival the Dragon Quest game designers in their early days. The reason why I don't want to get into it now is because it's an actual comic strip. And
wait, is this from Square or is this a fan thing? I bet it's a fan thing.
I think it is a fan thing, yeah.
Oh, if it's a fan thing, it doesn't count.
Keiichi Tanaka is the author of it.
So it's like a war between the FF guys and Dragon Quest guys?
Yeah, it's like documenting their...
in comic book forward?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of cool. I think I'd rather do like
idea.
an episode on that instead of just reading the comic itself. Hopefully they come out with more so we can dive into it full on. That'd be kind of cool.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds kind of cool.
So Final Fantasy XIV's annual Moonfire Fair brings fun and the sun to Eorzea. We've got another little login thing.
Oh, God.
If you want to begin the event, you got to speak to the NPC Moyaru at X11.5, Y13.8 in Limsa Laminsa, Upper Decks. He's a short little guy with sea blue hair. You get a variety of rewards, which include gear, house furnishings, and more. So,
but does it get me to level 70?
You probably get some XP, so it helps.
Some, yeah.
But I don't know. I actually really dug doing those periodical.
I did.
quests.
I liked getting the mounts for the Halloween one last time.
Yeah, that was way cool, and the Christmas one was fun, and it's been kind of fun. You know, it would be more fun if I wasn't done with the game. But Final Fantasy XIV apparently has surpassed 10 million cumulative players worldwide, according to Square Enix. The announcement follows the release of Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood, which obviously expands the content with new jobs, increased level cap, and more to the main story and new lands. The 10 million players milestone coincides with the release of patch 4.06 and the start of the annual Moonfire Fair seasonal event. 10 million cumulative players worldwide. That's a lot of people playing that game.
Since they started, or
I
don't know. Cumulative is a interesting word to use there.
It is an interesting word because it could mean 10 million right now, or it could mean 10 million overall ever that have registered to play the game.
Yeah.
So if it's 10 million
of a word.
at all ever that have registered, that's still a lot of people, but not as impressive as 10 million playing it now.
See, that's the problem with Square Enix's thing, because they do word things like that because it's not 10 million people all at once.
Yeah, I think it's going to have to be, or else they would say 10 million active subs and be like, boom, suck it. We're making 149.9 million a month on fucking Final Fantasy 14.
Because I've heard so many stats. We've had different stats come on the show.
Yeah, throughout.
We've had some that say there's 1 million players, some that say there's 500,000, some that say there's like 200,000. And then, I mean, you could just go through our episodes and hear us go, oh, there was a new survey. And I think they're pumping. I don't think there's actually 10 million. There's not 10 million people playing at the same time right now. There have probably been 10 million since 1.0 came out.
Yeah,
which is still impressive.
It's still the second biggest MMO. So
the second biggest paid MMO.
Paid MMO, yeah.
Yeah.
So they're still making money hand over fist, obviously, especially with chumps like me spending $200 on a collector's edition of a Stormblood.
Just think, if you only had, it's $12.99, right, for subscription. So if you only had 400,000 people playing FF14, you're still making a fuckload of money.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Fuckload.
And I don't think it would be that low.
Per month.
I think it's got to be at least 1 million or 2.
So
now, especially with the expansion being so brand new, people returning to the game that they've spent so much time grinding out gear each expansion to be top tier.
So I have problems because we've had different ones and they've been all over the place. I don't believe any of them now.
Yeah.
I don't believe any of the statistics.
And it's not that they're not true statistics. It's just they're put in a light that makes them very selective. Like it's still impressive. Yeah. It is. But they make it seem like it could be either really, really impressive or just kind of impressive. So,
see, 11, you can look up how many people are on certain servers, and then you can know.
Yeah,
straight
11's
up. I don't know if you can do that for 14.
I have no idea. I've had no reason to even go into those menus.
That's right.
For 14, other than like a couple times I did some stuff with Asian Cajun, like cross server. I think we signed up for dailies or something like that together. Which is a recent addition to the game, of course. But other than that, I don't even mess with that section of the menu. I'm like, nope, fuck that.
See, I don't even know where that section of the menu is, so there you go.
Yeah. It's registering for, I can't remember exactly what they call it. It's like a party finder, I think. Yeah. You can find people all over the place.
Okay.
Set up your own like private rooms and shit.
Oh, that's
play
cool.
your games. Yeah. It's nice. But that's all we got for news this time.
It was a lot more than last time.
Yeah,
it was nothing for news last time.
It was quite a bit more than last time.
Said that Joe is willing to quit the show right now.
Yeah. I say we start talking about a couple of these mythical origins.
Let's do it.
Okay, so this time I have 3 summons from the Final Fantasy series. We've got Bahamut, obviously a widely recurring summon. We've got the Cockatrice, a summon from Final Fantasy XIV, and a beast in Final Fantasy XII.
Is it a big, black, 8-inch Cockatrice?
It definitely is. That's the one we're talking about today. And, of course, Leviathan, another well-known recurring summon throughout the series. So let's dive in with Bahamut. So Bahamut comes from Arabian mythology. He's apparently a giant fish that acts as a supporting layer of the earth.
He's a giant fish?
Yeah, fish. Not a dragon. Fish.
I feel like we have talked about the Bahamut.
It wasn't in any of the episode descriptions.
Okay, that's interesting.
I
do remember one of them being a giant fish. I thought it might have. Maybe it was Leviathan. Could have been a giant fish as well.
I think there are a couple that are giant fishes.
Okay, so he's a giant fish that holds up the world?
Yeah. So according to Zakariya al-Quazwini, which I just probably slaughtered.
I'm so sure you said that correct.
You know what? Actually, I feel like it was right. A 13th century Arabic astronomer, Earth is supported by an ox that stands on Bahamut who dwells in a cosmic ocean. So Bahamut is like
13th century astronomer said that there's an ox somewhere where I can't see.
Yes. That's being held up by Bahamut, who dwells in like some sort of like cosmic ocean. And
I can see the cosmic ocean thing.
Yeah, that part, sure. Yeah.
That part, sure. I can understand someone looking up into the stars and going, we must be in some sort of... Because, when you look underwater, you open your eyes, it's like, little particles floating here or there. Maybe we're in some sort of large, like, ocean-like thing.
Right.
I get that. I don't get where the ground is that the ox... the ox is standing on the fish?
Yes.
Okay.
So the ocean is in a bowl that sits on top of an angel or a jinn, which is, of course, a genie. Another account claims that Bahamut is supporting a bull named Kujata, who's supporting a ruby mountain, holding an angel who supports and holds the 7 earths.
And below Bahamut, there's also a pyramid of Bahamuts holding each other up.
Yes, it's a wonderful halftime show.
Why is Bahamut a dragon?
I don't know.
I think we've asked this before on these things. Like, why is blank a blank?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So another version of the story accounts that Bahamut supports a bed of sand in which a bull rests upon, who has a rock on his back that holds the water in which Earth is located. So it kind of goes full circle with this version of the story with the whole cosmic ocean, because it's saying that Earth is in a pool of water that's being held up.
Now, an astronomer. It was an astrologer. It was an astronomer.
The first story, it was an astronomer. Yeah.
Okay, an astronomer figured all this out.
Yep.
Guys, the Earth is flat.
Yeah. So an Argentinian writer named Jorge Luis Borges claims that Bahamut is the large fish that Jesus beholds in the 496th night of the 1001 Nights. In this version, he's a giant fish swimming in a vast ocean, carrying a bowl on its head, again very similar, which bears a rock, and above the rock is an angel. Okay, so giant fish, bull on head, has a rock on the back, and has that on that rock is an angel who carries the 7 stages of the earths. And beneath Bahamut is an
7
abyss.
stages does sound 7 astral eras. We talked about the Janes in the Joseph Campbell episode.
Yep, the sevens, the 7 earths does fit with Bahamut in 14 especially.
That's interesting.
Beneath Bahamut is an abyss of air, fire, and a serpent called Falak, or Falak, who is a...
it's probably not phallic.
Probably not. A serpent so great that only its fear of Allah's power keeps it from swallowing all creation. So that is the mythical origin of the summon Bahamut.
Wow, that's interesting. There's a lot of things holding up the earth.
Yeah, a lot of beasts and rocks and whatnot.
Now, I wonder if this astronomer thought that the earth was... I'm just thinking about the astronomer because that's the only name we got in there. I wonder if he thought the earth was flat. In 1300?
It'd be 1200s, but...
1200s? Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't exactly remember when What's-His-Face claimed that it wasn't, but I don't think it was that long, or it was longer ago than that.
Well, there's been a lot of... We learned incorrect things in elementary school about history and science.
Yeah.
Mostly having to do with, like, way before Columbus sailed the ocean blue, they knew the world was round.
Yeah.
Like, way before. And it wasn't just the upper class citizens. It was,
Yeah, so I think they would have definitely known by then, actually, yeah. So
I'm wondering when I honestly don't know. I don't know when they knew. And I also didn't know Jesus was in 1001 Nights. Which I will read for Harvard Classics here.
Yeah.
Eventually, yeah.
Well, I mean, the Jesus figure, at the very least, is certainly in there.
I guess.
Whether or not he's... I don't know, I haven't read it, but that is where Bahamut is cited. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, I didn't realize that he's not really so much of a dragon as he is a fish.
Did they just take the Bahamut name because it's a cool name?
Probably.
I
think this is a case of them taking it because it's cool sounding.
Well, Bahamut is like a in some of the games, he's this very, very strong presence. And, of course, the fish holding up the other things that hold up the world.
Yeah, it makes him like a pillar of existence in a way. So,
yeah, sure.
And he is kind of the king of summons throughout the series. So they give him a well-deserved role.
So thematically, it's kind of in that range.
Yeah, and I feel like with Final Fantasy, a lot of times it's either a direct pullover or a thematic presence within the mythology itself. So
someone's saying that in the 4th century BC, the Greeks knew the Earth was round.
Yeah, the Greeks did, but it was
so that's interesting.
It was also contested later on.
Well, the Arabic people in the Middle East, I've heard that they had kind of a science-based society for a long time.
They would have known, yeah.
So you would think that they would have known. I don't know my history in that area almost at all. In fact, now I feel so embarrassed by it, I think I'll be going on the great courses on Audible and probably downloading something in that region as far as history goes.
All right.
Yeah, that's interesting.
All right, so now we're going to move on to the Cockatrice, the summon from Final Fantasy IV.
Cock.
Yeah. The Cockatrice is a mythical beast that's a two-legged dragon or serpent-like creature with a rooster's head. The name apparently derives from the medieval Latin calcatrix, which means tracker.
I think calcatrix is
like a drug.
I guess cockatrice because it's a rooster.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And a rooster is a cock.
Yeah, it's like a dragon with a rooster's head, basically. That's what it is.
Right. Have you ever seen like a drawing of one of those things?
I saw one when I was looking this up. It doesn't look like any of the cockatrices I've seen in the series. Nope. Those look like they look like really fat chickens.
Now, the cockatrice was our first rant ever on this show, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Talking about the cockatrice always fucking freezing you in FF2.
Oh, you're right.
They always turned you to stone, man.
You know what? I think in FF2 they were dragon-like creatures, weren't they?
They were like bird-looking things in that
So
one.
they were kind of similar. I guess
Cockatrice, they paste on that name on a few different creatures. In FF2, it was a bird.
Yeah, I do remember it being a bird, and I thought that was
turned you to fucking stone every goddamn time.
Yep, and I thought that was weird at the time because the only cockatrice I knew was the one from FF12, but the one from FF2 is actually a lot closer to the reality.
Yeah, at least it's got the bird part.
Yeah. So according to Alexander Neckham, who's a mid-12th century English scholar and theologian, the cockatrice is the product of an egg laid by a male chicken.
Now, this was a guy who believed that these were real.
Yes.
Okay.
It was an egg laid by a male chicken and incubated by a toad, which is sometimes substituted with a snake. So the name became almost synonymous with basilisk, which is they're very similar beasts, but the main difference is that these ones don't have wings. So
and one of them is in Harry Potter, and that's an important thing.
Yeah. So the cockatrices do have wings, according to mythology. They would have like tiny little wings, according to the art I was looking at.
Okay.
The cockatrice is a pretty lethal creature. It has like multiple ways of killing you.
Does it turn you to stone?
It does kill you. It can kill you by looking at you, touching you, and sometimes breathing on you. And if you'll remember, some of the later game Cockatrices in 12, they do have like a breath move, from what I remember, and it's like a stone breath. So it kind of combines that first and third
I can see that. I can definitely see the similarity there. Now, the Basilisk, obviously, J.K. Rowling made it a snake in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's like it's a bird dragon creature.
Yeah, they're all crazy. Everything's like a bird, dragon, lion.
Let's paste the name of this mythological thing.
Yeah, it's like put
it on what I want to.
It's like the origins of Photoshop is what these what these little mythical creatures are. They're like, dude, okay, chicken head, dragon body, and shark fin. Sweet. And it can swim and also crawl on land.
Okay. I don't know what, like, a dragon... A dragon probably wouldn't look very dragony with, like, a chicken head on it.
No, it would be very, very disturbing looking.
It just kind of look like a derp dragon with some feathers. I don't know if it's just one of those weird things, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know if it would be necessarily feared. So, medieval bestiaries reported that the weasel is the only animal immune to the glance of the cockatrice. And the two ways to slay the beast, one legend says that it will die from hearing a rooster crow and having a look at itself in the mirror. So it is very Medusa-esque in that way. If you remember the Clash of the Titans when...
I have seen that scene, although I have not seen that movie.
What's his name? Like, has the little reflective shield. I can't remember the dude's name. I'm like,
are you talking about new blank. Clash of the Titans?
Yes.
Okay, not the 80s one?
No,
I thought you were talking about the 80s
The new one's awful.
See, I've never seen the new one.
It's not great.
I've only seen a few scenes of the old one.
And I can't remember what the guy's name is. He's one of the demigods, I believe. And he like reflects Medusa's stare with the with his shiny shield, and it turns
that
her to stone.
movie though. Those movies, those are loosely based on some story, so that might be from the source story. Anyway,
yeah.
So it is something like that. That's
yeah,
cool.
It's similar in nature. So,
or if the basilisk and the cockatrice are basically the same creature, remember Hermione figured this out, started using the mirror when she was going down the hallways. I know you're the biggest Harry Potter fan in the world, so I just want to keep on bringing up Harry Potter and talking about it. Anyway.
Of course, how couldn't you, though? Really?
Yeah, I know.
So it's Perseus. Yeah, the myth of Perseus is the one that Clash of the Titans is based off of. So
it might be in there.
Yeah.
We haven't done our research on that, though.
Nope.
Obviously.
So the last one, and the one with the most information on it, Leviathan. So Leviathan is a sea monster, as we all know, referenced in the Hebrew Bible in the book of Job, Psalms, and Isaiah. In the book of Job, Leviathan is a reflection of the older Lotan, which is a primeval monster defeated at the hands of the god Hadad in a very Zeus-slaying Typhon kind of story. So he's...
Wait, so it's mentioned in the Bible and then what? I'm sorry.
Yeah, as a reflection of another dragon. So Leviathan is like a similar beast in the book of Job. Some scholars have interpreted Leviathan as referring to large aquatic creatures, namely the crocodile. So in those older stories, they've kind of said like that's probably what the Leviathan was, which is crazy because we look at Leviathan and it's like some earth-shatteringly large creature. And now crocodiles are pretty big and they're not exactly comforting, but they're not Leviathan big.
You don't find crocodiles comforting?
Not necessarily. They're like, do they just chill there and wait?
I always preferred alligators over crocodiles.
Yeah?
Yeah, personally. Like, I liked the wider, kind of rounded snout of an alligator. I was really into alligators when I was a kid.
Yeah,
crocodiles always had, like, the thin face, you know?
Yeah, they're not as cool looking.
And they're not as cool looking.
Plus, we have gators here in the States.
Gators!
Down in Florida. And I did live in Florida, so I have seen them.
I think there's only like two types of alligators in the world. There's the American alligator and the Chinese alligator.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then there's... I remember because I looked into a bunch of shit when we did Far Cry Primal.
Yeah,
the history of the alligator. and like that there's been fossilized alligators up north, and like they went into more temperate zones than you would think. And actually, alligators live in, although it's not really a temperate zone in the southern states, it is a more temperate zone than where crocodiles have to live generally. Of course, there's a bunch of different types of crocodiles. And then there's the caiman, which is another type of crocodilia.
Yeah, I would say the one disconnect with primal is the covering of land. Like, it seems like it's really close to the snowy regions, but I would almost attribute that to something similar to like a TV show's passing of time. Like, you don't really know how much time has passed in Game of Thrones until someone says, oh, that was like 6 years ago that this happened. And you're like, oh, shit, yeah. Okay.
So I get what you're saying there, but then there were some lakes that were very cliff-oriented, and I don't know how the fucking alligator got up there. Sort of a deal, unless someone's like, I'm going to take this family of alligators, I'm going to fuck them over.
Yeah, I'm going to drop them off here.
Bringing them way up this mountain and putting them in this little pond.
That's fair. All right.
Yeah, I don't buy it.
So Leviathan later became used as a term for a great well, and also kind of a general term for all sea monsters.
I always thought it was just a whale. I always thought Leviathan was a whale. I thought I had heard that.
In modern Hebrew, the word does simply translate to whale.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so...
But that's modern Hebrew. Who knows what they wrote in the Old Testament, I want to say. That's where that reference is at.
So the Tanakh mentions Leviathan 6 times and is generally referred to as an ocean
Tanakh
creature.
Is definitely the Old Testament.
Yeah, that isn't harmful, but is instead part of God's creation. So it's kind of like he's an acceptable piece of society. Not all of lore treats him that way, though.
Okay.
Let's see. Later, Jewish sources describe Leviathan as a dragon. So we're closer to what we get in Final Fantasy, who lives over the sources of the deep, and along with Behemoth, will be served up to the righteous at the end of time.
Wait, so we're going to eat them?
Yes.
Or the Jewish people will eat them?
Yeah, all of those who are saved, basically, at the end days. And Behemoth is the land version, essentially, of Leviathan. So... in the book of Enoch, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, Leviathan is described as a female monster dwelling in the watery abyss. When the Midrash, which is the explanation of the Tanakh, was being composed, it was believed that God originally produced a male and a female Leviathan, but in this version of the story, they ended up slaying the female to prevent the creature from destroying the world, and reserved her flesh for the banquet that will be given to the righteous upon the coming of the Messiah. So it's like a common theme that this Leviathan is like some real tender meat, and they're just holding on to this thing in the deep
Where
freeze.
is that in Final Fantasy?
I don't know. Leviathan is not tender at all.
It is the dragon thing that kind of lords over water, though.
Yes.
That was in FF3.
Yeah.
And it has since then been a pattern. So at least one of those mythological sources they did straight up take and put into Final Fantasy.
Yeah, and Leviathan in Final Fantasy 15 is a female monster, so I think that one's closely related. I don't know if any of the other ones really...
And it does lord over the sea.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. That's cool that we get one that's at least somewhat accurate with the old tales.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It gets very accurate with a sort of an alternative religion near the end.
Okay.
So in Christian mythology, Leviathan has come to be used as an image of Satan that endangers God's creatures and God's creation by threatening to eat them and upheaving the natural order, essentially.
Is that in the Bible?
It's described as a demon of envy and one of the 7 princes of hell, corresponding with the 7 deadly sins. Leviathan has often...
so that's newer writings. I don't think that's... Okay.
So Leviathan has become associated with the visual motif of the Hellmouth, who is a monstrous animal into whose mouth the damned appear at the last judgment. So that's like the abyss, essentially. Okay. Revised versions of the Bible have suggested that Leviathan may be a name for a crocodile and that Behemoth is more of a hippo kind of a deal. And young Earth Christian or creationists have identified these two as dinosaurs, essentially. So, like I said before, we started using...
Young Earth creationists?
Yes, young Earth creationists.
Oh, those are the people who think that man and dinosaurs lived together for a little while? Before dinosaurs died off in that 6,000 year period.
I'm not 100% sure that that's who they are, but I think they're the ones that.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? They might have been. They might be.
I bet so. That's interesting.
Yeah. So, like I said before, we started using Leviathan to refer to any sort of sea monster around the early 17th century. Great whales, kraken, whatnot, and what have you. The Leviathan actually represents the element of water and the direction of west in the Satanic Bible, where he is also listed as one of the 4 crown princes of hell.
The direction of west?
Yeah. I guess he symbolizes west. But the element of water and the Satanic Bible, he's the water dude. For the water crystal, he's like...
There's a lot of shit in here I just did not know about.
Yeah, it
gets into Christianity in the Middle Ages, gets a little weird.
Yeah, it does. It's obviously not the same. It's not the same as what we know now.
It's like I have actually started to read or listen to the Bible, just to, I want to go through it all the way through. You guys know I'm agnostic, so it's not really a religious exercise, but it is like the Bible is very important to our culture, and a lot of storytelling stuff comes from there. A lot of references or archetypes kind of come from there in Western culture.
Yeah,
they come from the Bible or a reference from the Bible directly. And so I was just like, hey, I'm gonna actually slowly make my way through the Bible this year. It was one of my 52 books in 52 weeks. Slowly. I'm still in Genesis.
Yeah, it's pretty boring.
I think I do remember Leviathan being briefly mentioned as like a thing. That's all I remember. I don't remember it being like it's a dragon who lives in... No, that wasn't in anywhere in Genesis that I remember. What I have noticed, though, Caleb, is in a historical context, you have these tales that are being told by Jewish people about how they own the land that they're on and how they created the Canaanites, or how the Canaanites were kind of created and how they're now enemies of the Jewish people. And it's very clear to me that there's a lot of tribalism going on. In a non-religious perspective, reading the Bible, that this is the tale of our tribe and why our tribe is better than the Canaanite tribe next to us that we're currently warring with. It's very interesting to read the Bible in that sort of non-spiritual context.
Yeah.
Yeah. It gets, in my opinion, it's actually way more interesting right now than it was when I went to Sunday school.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never really got that far into it. I got really bored with the first bit.
There's some chapters in there that are like, and he begat this, and they begat that, and you just lose track because you're like, that's way too many people, and then
too many characters.
Right now, I'm in the middle of Joseph is interpreting some dreams of the Pharaoh, I think.
Yeah, ultimate high fantasy, man. Way too many named characters, I tell you.
That's right.
It's ridiculous.
It's kind of like that. But and then there were some things I was confused about. I've had to look up things. Like, there's a lot of stuff that is not discussed in a religious context whatsoever in the Bible. Like the stories that are, Joseph and in the interpretation of dreams. Of course, people talk about that in church, but I don't know about like the son of Noah that saw his father's nakedness, and then Noah cursed him, and then that guy became the Canaanites, and then like that's not discussed. And no one knows, by the way, what the hell someone's seeing their father's nakedness in. I have delved deep into the internet looking for like interpretations of whatever that means, and some people are like, well, it could mean he had sex with his own mother, which is disgusting. Could mean he saw his father having sex with his mother and then cursed him, and it's just crazy.
Yeah, there's some weird shit in there, but
there's some crazy shit. But I haven't come across any of those, like, besides I think the word Leviathan.
Yeah,
like someone. It's like it will be a Leviathan or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, and things get revised and whatnot.
So I'm hearing these other sources, and I'm wondering what they come from, because a lot of those do not sound like Bible. A lot of those sound like Middle Age sort of writings or Christian philosophy or Jewish kind of lore that's not in their Torah or whatever.
Yeah, it's probably. I mean, there have been revisions and removals and stuff throughout time. So, yeah, definitely. But the Leviathan stuff, I was kind of surprised how many crossovers and similarities it had between the different religions, and I was very surprised by the the Church of Satan one, where he is the element of water. Like, I was like,
yeah, that's interesting.
That's very much the FF one. So, whatever. These guys, the Final Fantasy series is quite clear on their standing of organized
religion. Yeah, they got a real problem with it.
Yeah, so interesting. It was an interesting take, and looking forward to doing more of those.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've done that segment, but yeah, we got some time with the 30+ games that we have remaining to us.
Did you ever think about doing those Harvard Classics, by the way?
I thought about it, and I thought about buying the one on Amazon. It was like $3 for all of them.
Honestly, I would just look up what the Harvard Classic has, because the Harvard Classics. Did we talk about this on Nude Clan or Getting Fat, or have we talked about this on UFF at all?
I don't think we've talked about it on UFF.
Okay, so one of my goals that I started last year, I found out about this Harvard guy, the president of Harvard. I think his name was like Dr. Elliot or something, like 1918. He made a claim once in public that you could learn everything you can in Harvard just by reading the right books that would probably take about 5 feet on a shelf. It's like a 5-foot shelf. It was this 5-foot shelf challenge thing. And then a printing, like a publication company, like a book company, came up to him and said, "Hey, we're willing to print the collection of books if you name what the books are, and we'll call it the Harvard Classics." And so him and then an English professor, I think, went through and decided that you could get a general, liberal education, a complete one, by just reading these books. And then they made the books, and then they put them out. And they had introductions to the book, like why they're important almost. They had an entire volume on lectures, which I have not gotten to, which will have to be read. But there are a lot of them that are abridged. And so I just go through, find out what the book is, and most of the time I can listen to it. Sometimes I've had to read them, and it takes a little longer. But I've just been going through the Harvard Classics like that. I decided at one point I will go through the Harvard Classics and have a Harvard education from 1918.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
So that was one of my goals. Now, one of the reasons I'm reading the Bible is that I think the Harvard Classics included like 5 different books from the Bible, and I just said I'm just going to read the whole thing, and that's happened a few times. Like Ralph Waldo Emerson, he had a bunch of essays, and only a few of them were included in Harvard Classics, and I just said I'm just going to have all of them. I'm just going to do all of them. So I'm doing that.
Yeah, I've thought about doing it. I don't know.
So I get the unabridged Harvard Classics.
The one problem is that the things I've seen
fucking long.
Is they have been abridged versions, and like there are some reviews saying that there are like portions of it that are completely cut out. And
yeah, they are. But that's by design. They had to fit it in that kind of range. Yeah. They're not abridged like a Reader's Digest abridged. They're like Ralph Waldo Emerson has a collection of essays, and they just picked which essays were important. They didn't chop the essays.
Oh, okay. All right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, there were some things that it seemed like they were taken out because of like religious sensitivity and whatnot. Like some stuff in the Quran.
Oh, yeah, they did. They only did partial of the Quran, so I'll have to read the Quran at some point, too.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's like now or if it was an initial thing that they did.
It was initial.
Okay. So then I guess the one I'm looking at is probably worth buying.
Yeah. It's like $2 for the Kindle.
I know, and it's sick.
Yeah, I have it. Books. I have it. I read a few of them on there.
Well, nice.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought it was a cool goal. What else we got? We got questions?
Yeah, we got a couple questions we can get to.
Questions for us. We would like to hear from you. You.
right, so we've got a couple based around last week's episode. I think I'm going to do that one, those two last.
Okay.
First up, Monsters of the Deep from our good friend Matunica. I'm sure it's been said a few times, and I'm not going to badger you into playing the game, but I can't work out why
you're not?
You don't think this is an FF15 spinoff. To me, I would have thought it's part of the UFF Season 2 and would have played it after A King's Tale. I know you would need a VR set and all that, but it's not a mobile game, so why isn't it not a spinoff? Thanks, guys. Hashtag Craig's Appreciation Society. Hashtag FF10 blows.
Okay.
Bold statements.
Bold statements.
It's not a good way to get somebody to do something you like or you want them to do. It would be like, oh, by the way, Craig's right, 10 sucks. To two people who are large fans of Final Fantasy X. Monsters of the Deep. The big reason why I don't want to do it is the VR set. That's like the biggest thing. And secondly, it's kind of a bullshit game, honestly. It's not mobile, you're right. And it does require us to get a VR set, but it doesn't seem like it's a true game. Now maybe at some point we pick up a VR set and we might review it sometime down the road, but honestly, do you have any interest in playing Monsters of the Deep?
My thing is I'm still confused, and no one has clarified this to the point where I'm comfortable with it. I'm confused about whether or not it's an add-on to the main game or if it is in itself one complete game. Now I'm reading the Wikipedia page, and so I said I was confused, and notice my long pause in there is because it looks like it was initially a first-person shooter add-on to the main game. But I don't know if it's separate now.
Well, what I'm seeing in the beginning here, it says it's a downloadable virtual reality video game for PlayStation VR. So in that sense, it would be a separate entity.
How much is PlayStation VR?
Dude,
just look it up. Just go on Amazon.
I'm going on Amazon right now.
Amazon.com/prostate. Big black. PlayStation VR.
Oh,
this includes everything.
Well, there's a launch bundle, but that's $500.
Okay.
The PlayStation VR headset is on sale for $349.
Just the headset?
Yes.
I thought PlayStation VR you had to have a. Did you have to have the HD PlayStation or whatever it is? The PlayStation bullshit? What are the requirements for the PlayStation VR? Real-time research.
It just says PlayStation 4 system, so it's plug and play with PS4. You don't need a fancy PlayStation 4 Plus, as far as I can tell. So if we spent $350, we could get this PlayStation VR headset, and we would use it for the clan, I'm sure, and for other things that we will not mention on this show. We will get our money's worth,
guys,
one way or another.
Guys, clear out. I'm going to be using this for...
I swear to God, dude. I have
2 to 40 minutes.
Yeah, I have imagined you naked, holding yourself, and your parents barged into your room, and you just turning around, trying to search for them because you heard the noise with this giant fucking headset on.
Oh, okay. The game was not given a new release date after the main game's delay to November 29, 2016, but it's still currently planned to be released as a free DLC for the main game sometime after its re-release. Oh, fuck.
I'm also seeing later.
that later
was re-revealed.
Fuck you, Wikipedia, and your shitty wording.
E3 2017, and is set for release in September. Rather than a downloadable content, the game is a standalone project that can be played without needing to own Final Fantasy 15 itself. That fucking qualifies. Fuck! Okay. I don't want to play it. We'll play it, though.
We got the money.
We do.
That's fine.
We're loaded. tremendous.
No New York trip.
No New York trip. Yeah, this is, you know what? Guys, so us not going to New York later this year.
Well,
thanks to
that only
fucking Matunica. We would have gone out there. We would have hung out. Night Mist says, or it can disappear like the Prompto VR game. That's true.
That's true. I guess we'll find out. We'll have to wait till it's released before.
I think it is. It not?
Is it?
Oh, it said September.
Yeah, it's not September yet.
Dude, I can't believe that thing isn't out. E3 was a... No, I guess that was only... Jesus, that was only in June. Okay. It feels like a lifetime ago that I saw that thing, and I was like, motherfucker. Q3 of 2017. Now, the answer to the second part of your question, though, Matunica, is why are we not playing that after A King's Tale? It's because we're not going to be here after A King's Tale. We're going to review Stormblood next week, and then the week after we're going to review King's Tale because it's a 20-minute game, and then we are fucking gone. But we will come back to Monster of the Deep. It's technically...
God damn it, dude.
We technically have to without the killer. It's like the Wikipedia page.
It depends on if it is actually a standalone.
Yeah, they said it was going to be, though. And if it is completely...
As far as I can tell, the Wikipedia is bipolar on this issue.
It is. I feel like Matunica is watching the stream and he just went in and edited it at the very end. Yeah. I was like, wait a second. Hold on. New updates.
I don't like that, man. God damn it.
Well, it will be our first...
It's mostly that we have to get that fucking PlayStation overpriced VR thing.
Yeah.
It's horrible, dude.
Yeah.
Thanks, Patreon.
Yeah, thank you guys for your support in our PlayStation VR headset that we will buy. It'll at least be different, I guess. It'll be an awkward thing to play after Final Fantasy Tactics. It's just like Tactics, Monster of the Deep, Tactics Advance.
That's fine.
But
did 15 in the middle of the.
That's true. Shit. So I guess there we go. Monster of the Deep will be played.
So long as it is actually separate.
Yeah, as long as it's separate.
And we're not going to buy that VR until we're sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Otherwise, it's a waste of money.
It could be, yeah. Although it would be nice to have some VR equipment amongst the shows, just to play around with stuff. I don't know.
Okay.
Have some VR games. See how that goes.
All right.
So another one, we got an email actually from our old-time listener, Robert Molt. He's been around for a while now. He said, "Good morning. Memories of Final Fantasy are important to fans. However, you guys yourself are now part of what defines FF Memories because of the quality of your work. I recently visited an old gym I used to frequent when I first started listening to your podcast. I had lots of pleasant memories being there, recalling my first memories of laughing at how great your podcast is. I remember where I was the first time I listened to review episodes for the first time. I just thought you should know that you yourselves have added to what the FF experience is." This is, of course, following a very depressing, sad fuck episode of last week, where, honestly, guys, the biggest problem was our lack of sleep. We were recording that thing at like 11 at night. It was ridiculous. So a lot of that has been remedied today by recording earlier for both shows.
That's true.
Also recording in person. I think that helps. We got another one from Shinru. He says, "Don't worry, guys. Shinru calms."
Wait, was that a question or just a comment?
That was a comment from Robert.
Oh, thanks, Robert.
Yeah, so this one's, "Don't worry, guys. Shinru calms and assures the UFF hosts." So very, very soothing here. "Last episode was a bit of a downer. Okay, not really, but I did hear your worries loud and clear. I'm just here to say that as someone that has beaten most of the upcoming games you will be playing..."
Which is crazy to me, Shinru. That's a lot of fucking games.
"You have nothing to worry about. Most of the games you have played so far are actually the longest games you will play, aside from stuff like Tactics, which is one of the upcoming, Bravely Default, Xenogears, and Chrono Trigger. The rest of the games that you guys need to play are mostly 10 to 15-hour games or 25 to 30-hour games. You're going to be breezing through the Crystal Chronicle games, probably. You can easily get through those in a week or two, plus many of them are multiplayer, so you can play together to beat it even faster. If we can find time. Also, a lot of the upcoming games are very
That is a
different.
problem.
So you won't feel like you're playing the same RPG over and over, but they offer really cool different mechanics and stuff. And you have a lot of portable / handheld games, which are easy to finish since you can bring them with you and play 15 minutes here and there whenever you have free time. Don't worry, I actually think you can beat the remainder of your games in 1 to 2 years since they aren't too long like the FF main games and sequels / prequels. Hope that helped. On this one, Fruff also came back and said, I felt their frustration. They put a lot of pressure on themselves to put out weekly content. They could easily just play the games and only put out review episodes, but I know they care about their listeners, so they would never do that. To be completely honest...
Never do that.
To be completely honest, and this isn't meant to be negative, but the episodes have taken a bit of a dip in quality recently.
Dare you.
You can tell that Joe is burnt out and that they are both exhausted. Life, multiple podcasts, work, etc. takes its toll, I'm sure. I think this episode was good. It was a bit of show therapy, and I expect the episodes to be much better going forward. A lot of truth in the exhausted portion of that, and most of it's not even about the live for the multiple podcasts. I think most of it is literally the time we recorded last week. It was just brutal. I was so tired.
Last week, the week before wasn't great as far as time.
Yeah, it's just
doing the shows remotely. We still haven't figured out like the right way to record when we're on at opposite ends of the earth.
Yeah,
not of the earth, but opposite ends of the Wasatch Front.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We got some learning to do when it comes to that because I don't think we'll be doing this in person for forever either. 'Cause one of us might move, and we'll see what happens after that. But not for a while.
Yeah,
guys. But. Before the show ends, definitely.
Yeah,
that
probably.
will happen. So part of me is like, we should just do it over Skype anyway, because we got to figure out how to make a show successful over Skype. And then, so yeah, there's a lot of factors in it, man. And honestly, my biggest problem, as far as the show is concerned, I think our show is better when we're doing reviews really regularly, because it feels like we have a lot of different content.
Yeah.
And although like 11 we got to use the reviews as like a segment on the episodes every couple weeks or every 3 weeks when we finished an expansion. So that was really nice, and we should have done it this time, but now it's too late. We have our format for 14 reviews, and so we're probably not going to change that. But yeah, it's the time putting into just the one single game.
Yeah,
take it forever.
It's a lot of it is that, and it's not that we want to rush through the content.
And it's not that the game is bad either. Like, the game is good.
Yeah, it is.
It's so many months.
Yeah, and
life.
Part of me almost kind of regrets doing Stormblood now, but at the same time, I don't. I almost just regret not doing Heaven's Word back in the day, because then we would have had Dragon Song War and then Stormblood, and we would be fine.
Yep.
Like, it's just, I think we gave ourselves too much this time. And last time we didn't give ourselves enough because we didn't understand the format. We didn't understand that when Heaven's Word was dropped, Heaven's Word was complete. The Dragon Song War was just subsequent patch content,
sure,
which we could have done this time, and then we'd be done. So we've learned a lot, and when the next expansion drops...
It will be much faster.
Well, actually,
hopefully.
You know what? I guess before the next expansion drops, we can finish all of the story content leading up to it, and then when it drops, we do it. And then we're done. Right. So we've learned a lot with this giant 14 chunk, and
it'll be more split up next time.
Yeah, and honestly, it's not that we want to get done with the show like you were saying. I think the show is stronger with our reviews because I think we do a very good job planning review episodes and discussing the games themselves. I think that is the most fun I get out of this show is discussing my viewpoints on the game's story, the soundtrack, the whatnot, and what have you. I think that is the echelon of Ultima Final Fantasy. Now these reviews on the back end stuff like Square Enix, history of Square Enix, part blah blah blah, those are really fun and those are really interesting to hear.
They take just as much research as doing the video game reviews.
They do, and I don't get as much pleasure out of them. And I do love the lore episodes like the one I did today. I think all of that is very interesting, but the games are still the core of the show.
That's why last week I was like, hey, can we start doing these every 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, which even if we did that, we're still looking at like another 2 years. Like, we understand it's a big thing, and we're not trying to rush through it. We're just trying to
speed it up a little bit.
Speed it up a bit, yeah. Because, and a lot of that is the pressure.
So let's fucking finish Stormblood this week. Then next week we'll do a King's Tale, and then 3 weeks after that have Tactics finished. Yeah,
we can try. Metaduelist says we've motivated him to start a 14 account. You should keep playing. It's not a bad game. We're not really cut out for MMOs necessarily.
Yeah, that is something I found out. I don't know if I talked about this last time. I found out I don't think I'm made for MMOs. I just don't think I'm made for MMOs. I'm way too kind of goal finish oriented. I don't really get too much pleasure in dicking around, which a lot of people do, and that's fine.
Yeah.
They like to go around. They just like little improvements on their characters, have fun with people that they know in game, a couple hours a day or a few hours a week.
Yeah.
I get that there's a pull there, and we have friends, obviously in game, that are really into that.
Yeah.
I am not. I'm not into the lifestyle that goes with playing
would you be
MMO.
if the MMO was the only thing we had? Like, if it was just us, we were just two normal friends, and hey, let's play this game.
No, otherwise I would have played RuneScape or would have kept playing World of Warcraft.
So it's just the MMO is just not for you.
I just don't think MMOs are for me at all.
Okay, I think they are for me.
It's kind of the same with like the fucking sandbox, like Fallout 3 shit. Like, it's too open,
It's too much.
It's just not for me. Not for me.
I mean, and it's so much wandering time, and that's so much of the game too.
Yes.
That's why I didn't finish Fallout 3. Like that, and I died while I was wandering for 2 hours and lost every second.
I just felt like the world's biggest piece of shit. I have said this story many times. It's a very simple story. I played Fallout 3. I just stuck it in. I bought it for $20. I was like, a lot of people love this game. Sure. Played Fallout 3. Didn't notice the time go by. Looked up. 8 hours had passed. I had done nothing in the game. I'd done the beginning section and just fucked around.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was fun, but I hate myself after doing that. So, I felt like I would have really loved that game if I were 13.
Yeah, and you just had all the time in the world.
Just had all the time in the world. But right now, nope. Don't. I'd rather have games that end.
Yeah, I kind of agree. And I mean, I can do MMOs, but what I used to do before I started podcasting, I would have my game. I would have the game that I play for a little while. I would be like, okay, I'm really into League of Legends right now. So we would all get on and we would play League of Legends. And that was like months and months and months. And that's just what we played. We can't do that now. We don't just have that one game that it doesn't matter if you miss a couple days a week.
I guess
because we have multiple games.
I did treat League of Legends like an MMO.
Yeah, we played the shit out of that thing. I created a new account at level 1, and I ended up using that one going forward when I got it up to level 30. I doubled down on my game progression just to start a new account with you and Caleb. And that was our thing. But we don't have that anymore. That doesn't exist. We don't have that game that we just go to when we want to play a game.
That's true.
Like, there's nights where you want to watch a movie. There's nights where you just want to go to bed early because you're fucking old now. And there's nights where you want to play a game, and that would be what we would do. We would play League. We would all jump on, hey, you're going to get on League tonight. Like, we'd play League. We don't have that anymore with the shows.
I wasn't employed back then, so I could actually just hop on after school.
And it was just whatever.
It was just whatever.
Yeah. It's not a bad thing. It's not like, Nude Clan is getting in the way.
I wasn't employed and I wasn't trying to find a job either. It was just,
you were cool
I was
with
just going to school. And I guess that's kind of the perfect time to be doing stuff like that.
Yeah, but right now we don't have the game that we just go back to because we have other things coming up, which is great. We get new experiences. I
wanted that to be
Call
of Duty Advanced Warfare, but the online experience turned out to be really shitty with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
you got to find something.
It exists, and for me, it's like a thing that I did. But like when I played Guild Wars 2, I played it for a couple months, and then I stopped playing it, and I've never picked it up again. Like, I had my fun with it, but it was my game. ESO was my game. That was the game that I played. And that kind of a thing is just not it's not practical in any way nowadays for us. It just isn't.
Is it just because we're doing a podcast where we're reviewing video games?
I think it's because we're doing 2 podcasts reviewing video games. Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't have those side games anymore, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, at least with this, we're getting new experiences. I mean, hey, you might hate the tank controls, but you have now experienced tank controls. Whereas if we
don't even fucking bring up tank controls.
If we just had like our
fuck that,
our FF review and then a random big game that we all played together, it would be totally different. So yeah, I don't know. I think I am the type, but I think that it has to be done differently than it's being done for us, and we're doing it in a really weird way. And I think
I never played League of Legends unless I was playing with you guys, though. That is a difference.
Yeah, and I totally would.
Yeah, you would. So you are kind of that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you enjoy your time in the game. I enjoy beating it.
Yeah.
And I'll enjoy my time in the game while I'm beating it. So it's just different. I can't play the same game for forever. Just can't. What is going on?
Oh, Stola said, LOL, the image. Yeah, we decided to use it. Needed some space filler in the Twitch stream.
Oh, our next season's logo?
I believe so, yes.
You believe so?
Yeah.
Have we not? I thought we decided on that like forever ago.
We did, but then we got some other stuff, and I'm not so certain.
Got some other good logo. Well, next season's going to be short anyway.
It's going to be, tactics heavy, and there are some tactics things in there.
Oh, are there really?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
That's why I'm not sure. I really love this one.
Such a good logo.
Love this one a lot, but there are others that are fitting. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. But yeah, so it's just not practical is the big thing for me. And it's nice to move on. And there are so many. Tactics is quoted as one of the best Final Fantasies in the series, and it's like right there. It's just right there. I just want to get to it.
It's all shit from here on till Chrono Trigger, right?
Yeah. The show just goes completely downhill because we hate all the games that we play from now until the final game.
Yeah. Oh, well, you got some Kingdom Hearts in there. You're gonna like those.
Yeah.
Some people are saying it doesn't really belong on the list. You are kind of correct, but
I completely disagree because they brought up Chocobo Dungeon. And they said that, they're called Final Fantasy here. Well, they weren't called Final Fantasy in the beginning in Japan.
Right. That's why we didn't put them on
And
the list.
I feel like a chocobo, a beast from the series that was ripped off of a candy ad, has less place in the series than the main story, main characters, and the main villains that are brought into Kingdom Hearts.
That's
Kingdom
true.
Hearts is way more Final Fantasy than Chocobo Dungeon. It's a bird that they stole from a fucking ad. It even says Quay in the fucking ad. It does. They stole it. Doesn't count. Total bullshit. It's a cruel comparison that shouldn't have been posted on that damn forum.
Yeah, Cloud is actually in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah,
with lines. Squall is in Kingdom Hearts.
Exactly. It's half Final Fantasy, half Disney.
Yep. So I do think that Kingdom Hearts fits more than Chocobo. Anything fits.
Yeah, and maybe we'll do some of those on Nude Clan. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
But that's the thing is like
actually. No.
Well,
I'm sorry, Schweiss. I'm not going to nominate.
Well, you might not nominate it, but
don't fucking say that.
The same thing happened with Parasite Eve. Remember, they wanted us to play Parasite Eve for Ultima, and I was like, nope. And then we did it for Nude Clan.
Well, it's because it's not a fucking Final Fantasy game.
No, it isn't. And it was based on a book, and it was a concept. Some of the ideas were concepts for FF7, but it was too loose. It was way looser than the Xenogears.
Yeah, that was a straight up.
Yeah, that was a story that was submitted for Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Rather than just bits and pieces that some of it did carry over with the Genova stuff. Most of it was scrapped from Parasite Eve. So a little bit different. But yeah. Sure.
Okay, well, is that all our questions?
Yeah, it's all of them for today.
Okay.
I guess our question from us to you, which I gotta do the jingle for. Beautiful. So this week's question from us to you, the standard, give us your Stormblood reviews, give us your Stormblood questions. let us know what you think. Like, where does it compare amongst all the other Final Fantasy 14 content? I mean, we've got
rank the expansions.
Yeah, why not? Let us know what you thought of the most recent one. I hope we get a little more activity on this one because it is a very recent play, and a lot of the listeners do play 14. So jump on there. You can answer that question on the forums. Or, of course, you can give us a call at 385-204-3921. That's 385-204-3921. I think I have a question on there that we haven't answered yet, and we'll get to it. But I'll definitely answer all of the voice questions.
I actually prefer the voice questions, to be honest.
I do, too. I just forget to open Skype. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and if we get them, like, intermittently throughout the week, so, yeah. But, yeah, please use the phone line. We're paying for it, so... Please, God.
Yeah, like to hear your voice.
Yeah, we do. It's
anyway,
it's cool.
You can tweet me at Joseph DeGaulier.
Me at UFF Podcast.
Everything, forums, all that other stuff. Ways to support the show can be found at ultimafinalfantasy.com. Feel free to click through our Amazon link and buy yourself a big black cock.
Yes, please do. Yeah, I guess until next time, guys, please answer the question from us to you and enjoy the grind.
This has been another production of Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast. The show was produced by Joseph DeGaulier and Caleb Schweiss, with music and editing by Joseph DeGaulier, parodies and clips from their respective authors, of course. You can get all of our episodes as well as our Let's Plays at ultimafinalfantasy.com. You can also contact us on Twitter at UFF Podcast, as well as our contact page on our website. Be sure to subscribe and review our podcast. Your reviews may get read on the show, and look forward to the next episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast.